I was born in Springfield, Illinois in 1922, attended school in Springfield, including Springfield Junior College. In 1942, I joined the U.S. Army Air Forces and was called to active duty from junior college in February of 1943. I was sent through the aviation cadet program, where I graduated in an experimental class, one of 48 cadets only who graduated from a Martin B-26 Marauder at Del Rio, Texas in March of 1944. From that point on, I was shipped to gather my crew at Lake Charles, Louisiana, where we undertook combat training, and we were then shipped overseas. I was stationed 30 miles north of London with the 386 Bomb Group. My first mission was in support of the British paratroop landing at Arnhem. A book about that operation was written by Cornelius Ryan. It's entitled A Bridge Too Far. That was my first Marauder mission. We converted from the B-26 Marauder to the then Douglas A-26 Invader. Very similar but somewhat faster aircraft with a smaller flight crew. I brought 6 of these airplanes home, the last batch flying to the United States in August of 1945. My commanding officer in Europe had advised me at the end of the war he would recommend me for regular Air Force. However, I wanted to go back to school, and so I opted for a Reserve Air Force commission, and I went back to college at Purdue University, where I studied aeronautical engineering. I was recalled to active duty in 1948 and sent to Chanute Field, Illinois, where I received the equivalent of a degree in meteorology. When I was serving at Chanute Field, I was assigned to the Naval Station at Treasure Island, California, where the University of California, Berkeley conducted a course in nuclear radiation physics. I graduated from that class with distinction, graduating number 2 in the class in the year 1950. After graduating from Chanute Field, I was sent to the 33rd Fighter Wing at Otis Air Force Base on Cape Cod in Massachusetts. I served with the 33rd Wing for 18 months and was then shipped overseas during the Korean War to the 20th Weather Squadron at Nagoya in Japan. The 20th Squadron reassigned me from that point to the 3rd Bomb Wing as Wing Staff Weather Officer at Iwakuni, Japan, 25 miles away from Hiroshima. And I flew 30 missions with the 3rd Bomb Wing as a tactical pilot and flight instructor in the Douglas A-26 Invader. I was assigned, however, to the wing to provide detailed weather briefings and support to the entire wing for a 15-month period, during which time we were transferred from Iwakuni, Japan, to Kunsan in South Korea. I was one of 4 weather officers who flew combat with the tactical organization which they were assigned to support. After my assignment with the 3rd Bomb Wing, I was returned to Japan, where I ran a meteorological weather station in the Air Defense Control Center during the next year. I returned to the United States in 1953 from Japan and was assigned to Headquarters Air Weather Service at Andrews Air Force Base in Washington, D.C. I was a member of the operations staff and participated in writing the very well-known Air Force Regulation 60-16, which was the operations Bible for air operations in the United States Air Force. I graduated from the University of Maryland with a degree in military science. Upon completion of my tour of duty in Washington, D.C., I was first sent to the Air University in Maxwell Field, Alabama, where I attended Squadron Officer School. I returned to Headquarters Weather Service and requested the opportunity to return to the Tactical Air Force. General Mormon advised me that he would not turn me loose. He would give me 2 options. Either I could go to Tactical Weather Reconnaissance, as an observer and take my chances on re-entering the pilot seat, or I could go to Guam as a pilot in a B-50, where we performed weather reconnaissance, especially typhoon reconnaissance. While I was assigned to the 54th Weather Reconnaissance Squadron on Guam, I served as an operations officer for the unit and actually penetrated 10 major Pacific typhoons. The family returned to the United States in 1957, where I went to work for Bendix Aerospace Systems in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where I became Director of Space Communications Systems Development. I directed the development of 4 aerospace systems, the first of which was a geophysical reconnaissance system. The second was an interim communications satellite program. The last 2 programs were both of the same nature. The first was an interim program using a small Scout Junior rocket, which was transported over the road system in the United States in order that its location could never be permanently established by the enemy. When the President picked up the red phone, the rocket would be launched and the go code would be transmitted to all military systems visible from space. The second program was the permanent emergency communications system, where we removed the warhead from a Minuteman rocket and installed the UHF transmitter, which transmitted the go code to the entire visible Earth for a period of 50 minutes, which was more than sufficient to alert every military unit of the United States. Bendix Aerospace Systems Division was scheduled to be sold back to the University of Michigan, and I left Bendix Aerospace and went into the airplane business with my partner Bob Twining in Ann Arbor. I subsequently made contact with the Michigan Air National Guard and was assigned as an operations officer to the 110th TAC group, was Tactical Reconnaissance Group, flying B-57s, which was the English Electric Canberra, a twin-jet aircraft. I flew approximately 500 hours with the Michigan Guard before leaving active service. After 29 years of active service with the United States Air Force, I reverted to retired status as Lieutenant Colonel. In late 1967, the family moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, where I took over management of an aircraft engine rebuilding operation located at Benton Airport, west of Little Rock. The company had been founded by my brother Dick, and it lasted until 1970, and I went into the business of investment banking. And after 4 years in the investment banking business, I returned full-time to selling twin Cessnas. The family moved in 1994 from Little Rock to Harrison, Arkansas, where I continued for a year or two selling aircraft. Since that time, I have confined my retired activities monitoring the commodities market on a daily basis.